Interesting though, when talking about team identities, Triumph is getting away from the identity of being, well, we just run a lot of 3-3. Everyone is shifted.
It was very variable. It was much more variable there. And if anything, we've seen a lot of triple tank Hanzo. And we've seen Hanzo Sombra because it's almost just completely negating the D.Va because Sombra's just going to bully it. So, like, why would we play D.Va when we could just play Hanzo?
It's been a time for Shimadas, where there was a moment where we didn't see a whole lot of Hanzo or Genji, and suddenly, a lot of Hanzo being played. As XL2 for now on the defense, Triumph on the attack. See if this defensive Pharah pans out.
Well, is this triple DPS setup here with the solo tank for Gig? So for Triumph, they have a couple options. They can go shield break, they can get more DPS thrown. It looks like that's what they're doing. They put Decod onto the Orisa and Aether on the Hog. They have that double sniper, so not only do they have the pressure they need onto Speedily, but they have shield break presence. They can move forward, they can control the point much more aggressively than Gig, who does not have a Hog to back him up for the hooks, for the halts.
Also, I do think Speedily staying alive here is going to be difficult, where you see Speedily using rooftops for cover, but Lynx just gets in there. And
it's a mercy fight. It's a mercy fight on the flank, but OG, he has to leave. There was some backup there.
Backup's going to be there, and that means Lynx gets rezzed back up into the fight. It's advantage to Triumph. And Lynx is going to be able to get very good position here. Might even take the elevator.
Speedily's going to come back on this Hog, looking for the hook halt, but already Gig caught by the combo. XL2, they have no point presence right now. They have to re-enter into this Hog, into this Orisa, into the snipers. It's done. It's over.
Speedo with the last little bit of cleanup there. Just when XL2 thinks, maybe we'll head on back in. No, you're going to get arrowed to the face.
I respect Speedily's gumption there, where he goes for the dive bomb Pharah technique and takes out Lynx immediately, but at the end of the day, you can't control the flank. He gets Lynx rezzed up, and Speedily has to come back. So that opening pick, despite the trade, favored Triumph much more heavily. And now Triumph, they can put their double snipers onto the high ground. They can move the cart forward. If XL2 continue to want to play this composition, I think they should just go Sombra. I think they should go Sombra Goats and just take the next fight. Gig, though, yeah, they will be going that. Okay, good. Sombra Goats, they have EMP. They're going to take the fight. Let's see if Aquaman hit the Nano to keep someone alive.
The problem for XL2 is that EMP has been it's been an adventure, to put it mildly, for how they've been playing here so far, where they're not guaranteed a good fight off the EMP, even though it's favorable circumstances, because for one reason or another, the EMPs end up getting rushed, and the team is in a great spot to follow up on it.
I mean, Triumph, they hold the high ground, they're looking for picks. They also have a Nano Hog to stop, to get the peel there, and that's exactly what's used. You see an early pick, I think they're out of the Hog with Sombra. Buzz is going to take down Lynx, though, denies him that position.
All in all, though, Triumph is fine. They weather the storm, the EMP, and XL2, they use Nano Boost, but they're getting poked down from all sides. Gig ends up falling. Samedo in an absolutely great position on the payload, laying an arrow after arrow. In Triumph, they deal with XL2 easily, and the Sombra Goats, again, just not XL2's forte.
Now XL2 going to be swapping here to full 3-3. They put Buds onto the D.Va. They need the zone for this double sniper. They need the zone to deny the value they're having on high ground, because XL2 are going to have to walk out here, contest the point, and they have no one else that can deal with the high ground other than Buds.
XL2 rotating out and over. Triumph doing much the same, where Triumph, they can slow play this. They can wait for EMP. Aether's at 70%. They don't have to necessarily dive in unless they see a moment of weakness, and Samedo gets a pick off. That's certainly going to be a moment of weakness. Dragon Strike moving on in. Samedo with 3, just exploding into the XL2 backline.
And as soon as he got that pick off, the fight was essentially over. The position where Buds was so low HP, Haku wasn't alive to heal him. Now it's just clean up for Triumph. They have EMP, they have Shatter. This is getting tougher and tougher for XL2, because OG still doesn't have beat, and even if he does have beat, you don't want to commit it for an EMP Shatter because your team's all going to be on the ground.
This is problematic for XL2. And Triumph, so far, they've been a team that's been a lot better at handling EMPs than XL2 has. EMP Shatter in a great spot here. There's the EMP, there's the Shatter, immediate execution, and it's well done by Triumph. This is what XL2 has been unable to do, and Triumph does it effortlessly.
Bud is getting a little bit of delay here on the cart, so not full cart push, but realistically, we're still in a last fight territory. XL2, they have to come out here. They're going to be getting out some of those ults now. They will have this support ult coming up. If I'm Triumph, I'm looking to Samedo. I'm looking to Samedo to try to get a frag, to get the zone with the Dragon here.
Triumph right now setting a very, very quick time. Nano boost in reserve. The way Decod's playing, they have to be positioning for the early Nano on the Decod. He wouldn't be this far up otherwise. Gets a Nano boost, moves on in, catches several members of XL2, set up by the Bionade. That works out quite well for Triumph. Up 2. Dragon Strike from Speedo off to the other side, cuts off the right side of the point. And KSP, nowhere to go. He'll find Sumito, trying to work his way back on over. Shatter from Decod just for the Zarya. And yet, it's all falling apart from Triumph.
It's falling apart. They don't have the sustain. Sure, they're going to have EMP, but the staggers, it's so bad they don't have the spawn advantage they need. So XL2 are going to hold, and what looked to be an incredibly good fight for Triumph because of the chase that was happening for XL2 onto Lynx, who got isolated, set up by Awkward's nade. They fall apart at the end because KSP, he's high energy, he has the grab, he's able to lock him in place, and so it was done.
Still, Triumph could set a pretty quick time here. They have an EMP in reserve and a grab. Two of the biggest fight winners in the entire game.
And no defensibles. No defensibles for XL2 here. So speedily, he's on the Batiste now, hoping to get a strong immortality build. They're also going to engage with the bomb, try to move the barrier. They don't catch anyone there.
Big and viciously going to the back, ends up getting slept mid-shatter, stuck in the grab on the other side. EMP can be invested from Aether.
And it caught speedily, no immortality build. They chase so aggressively there, ZP, and the fight's over. It's done. They can't win this recontest.
That was a crazy flank attempt coming in from Gig, and Triumph was having none of it. They respond with the grab EMP, and they finish out with plenty of time here on Hollywood.
XL2 should have realized they overplayed their hand there. As soon as Bud's bomb went out and they knew they couldn't remove shield and get a barrier, get a pick, they need to just back out of main. They were not on a site where their team could heal them effectively. They're on a site where they can fight effectively. They must back up, but they overcommitted. Gig tried to drop a shatter, was punished for it. Aether caught everyone they needed to with the EMP. Just overcommitting for XL2.
This puts XL2 in a very difficult spot where not only do they need to go coast to coast here, bring this all the way in the point C, they got to do it with time remaining on the clock. And Hollywood, in particular, is a map where you see overtime finishes quite a bit. But an overtime finish just puts it into the dreaded drawable territory.
The dreaded drawable territory.
Although, if we had a second draw here in the series, then we could get the exceedingly rare moment where we have a 1-to-1 forcing a tie-breaking map 5.
True. Well, we're getting into quite interesting scenarios here. We're branching off into the timeline. We're seeing the various possibilities.
Not only is the meta going into chaos, the actual match scores are following.
It is a time of flux. It is a time of change here within Overwatch esports. XL2 now going to be on the offense. Probably going to do a little bit of scouting, see what Triumph are running. They make some swaps to Quarterline. I wouldn't be surprised to see triple DPS come out for them. It's a lot of shield break. They love running that comp. We'll have to see.
Of course, Triumph on the other side. Remember, they were pretty close to first holding on Paris. We'll see if they're able to channel that here into a first hold on Hollywood, though. Running a very different defense relative to Paris. No Ashe in play.
And look, it's the Sombra Hanzo again. So they're utilizing this so much. We're seeing a lot of teams just put Hanzo on the field rather than D.Va, especially if they think there's going to be a Sombra. If you have a Hanzo this caliber of Sumito as well, might as well play him.
Decod got very heavily displaced there. Gives the high ground to XL2 for free. Bud's there in the follow through. Gets Sumito in the back line. 6 on 5, although a little bit over aggro. Moving in from KSP. KSP falls. Both teams down to Shimada. KSP res back up.
Gig's down. They don't have a lot of point presence right now as ZP. They don't have anyone that can actually contest this point and move it. They can poke, they can prod, they can try to get a pick, but they can't actually get the objective.
Speedily running into issues here in the skybox. Can't quite get away from Zarya. Has to back on out. Triumph, they've been able to restabilize here, and you look at how charged up Lynx is, it bodes well for the next fight. Very, very close for Graviton, even as Speedily rotates around the right-hand side. Lynx just beaming into the Pharah at all points. Graviton's about there, and Speedily wings clipped by the hack.
Gonna be taken down by Speedo now, so no Speedily for that presence, no Speedily for the point presence. And you touched on it. Lynx is insanely charged versus this triple DPS, and he has grab. He is the first person with an ult as Zarya versus triple DPS. That is insane. That almost never happened.
Lynx has been playing out of his mind all night long. Zarya, no exception. Still good energy, despite XL2 taking a long time to reset here. And XL2, they're going to be walking into the grab. Let's see if Bud's is able to gobble it on up. They're down one already. They're going to need the grab soon to equalize. Graviton's out. They just use it on Gig. They go, we want Gig out of the fight. Wow, when you want him out. Grab, Dragon Strike, done. Triumph, Nano Boost on the Decod, but XL2 still threatening on the outskirts. Numerical advantage. EMP going to be dropped by Aether, and Triumph just wants to be sure.
And they use that combo there to clean up that Nano, and despite OG going down, or despite, I should say, Chop going down early, at the end of the day, Triumph had a high energy Zarya with grab, stops the push, Decod drops the shadow to stop it before. I really don't even think they had to necessarily commit the EMP, but they did. They finished the fight. Now, this next fight is where XL2 should look to close it. Gig will probably get Primal, Speedy will get Rally. They have a lot of sustain, they have a lot of ability to move Triumph away, but Lynx is currently building towards that Graviton.
And I think Lynx is the key note here, where Lynx could build Grav and Millis, but Speedo caught out and down, just isolated by XL2, 6 on 5. They're able to heal on up, they're diving on in. Buds though, getting pretty low. Buds needs to just back up for a little bit. Let himself be healed up. They have the advantage. Got built up Shadow mid-fight. Lynx getting really close to grab. Beat can be invested here. Triumph fight their way back. The Shadow comes down, knocks 2 to the ground. Bud's a bit danger. Lynx gets a grab mid-fight. Pulls in speedily and Buds decon back on over. And Triumph is fighting their way through, but it's very even as Gig uses Primal. Matched by the EMP on the other side.
KSB, he's so high energy though. He's so low, he's gonna live. They get the peel. KSB and Gig staying alive throughout despite the grab, doing what needs to be done. XL2, they finally flip the point. And the reality is, they're able to walk forward, they're able to get the engagement they needed off that early pick from Tremito. And even with the EMP, even with the grab, when you have a high energy Zarya, that's able to do a lot.
The problem that XL2 is running into though, it took them 3 minutes and 10 seconds to get through point A. They need to finish this map with time left on the clock, or they don't get another attack. Triumph in the overall war of Hollywood right now is in a big advantage. XL2 opening up the grab here early. Could be a clean team fight win, but again, they need more. They need more swift fights like that.
It's a swift fight, but grab is removed though. They did farm a lot of their ults. For Triumph, they can walk away from that. Actually, they would have loved for it to go longer because they want to build EMP, they want to build grab, but they have the chance to take 2 more fights potentially on second. They need to go fast. They need to remove ults from XL2. They need to continue to build the EMP. But the longer this next fight takes, the worse it is, because Primal, Bomb, it's not the perfect combo, but when you're running Reinhardt, you can remove the barrier, you can set up Buds' Bomb very effectively.
Going straight down the middle. To a degree, just looking to delay. Decon getting chunked on down, not gonna have the chance. Whoa, hang on, Decon's still alive. Decon somehow getting healed up. Decon was so low, but Buds there to finish it off. There won't be any miracle come back this time. Gig having the Tavern Brawl back on the other side. And XL2 fighting their way through, second consecutive fight. And this is about the speed they need to be setting, but Triumph also got a decent amount of delay here.
Not only a decent amount of delay, they're going to have EMP soon, they're going to have grab, they have both support ults. No grab for KSB. It's a 1 ult fight for XL2 versus almost everything for Triumph. They did exactly what they need to do, which is take early fights, remove ults from XL2. Now they have another contest. XL2 has to do something crazy. They need to have insane value here from the speed as well.
Just the rally alone from Speedo is going to be giving Triumph such durability here to start things out. Wait, wow, Nate. Speedo's already pretty low. They haven't been able to rally yet. Speedo in danger. Able to pop rally. Gets enough heals. Awkward. All over it. Decon punishing Gig. And beats or no, XL2 in danger here in this fight. They overextend a little bit trying to get Speedo, who gets himself out of danger with the rally. And this is really, really good for Triumph.
And you want to talk about value from that rally? Beat was used, Roach. Beat was used, and Lynx has grab, and Aether has EMP. XL2 have no defensive ults. They don't even have any sort of disruption with Giga with the Primal or the Bomb for Buds. It's a grab versus all the fight-winning ults and the double support ult for Triumph. It is almost functionally impossible to win this fight unless Triumph have an insane throw, have something where they mess up their execution. Buds, he needs to grab. Haku cannot get caught by this EMP because he must get nano. The reality is they might just have to engage first for Ruby.
Double fight winners up here for Triumph. They're going to open up with the grab. Decon gets stuck in the other grab. Plays him on the nano, but instead EMP out. They get 3 immediate pickoffs. Let's stick a fork in XL2 because they're about done here on Hollywood. Triumph using all their fight winners, but XL2, they only have 15 seconds to get back to point, and might not be possible.
I mean, the first person that is going to get hacked is going to be one that's going to have to touch, and Aether's just going to look for a hack to deny the chance to even have that happen. There we go. Bye-bye, OG. Moving to point, another one down. There's no way they can even touch.
Nope.
The map is over. It's tied up 1-1, and we're going to a tiebreaker map 4.
And we see some of the tendencies that we saw all the way back on Paris kind of come up here in Hollywood, where right now, between the two teams, XL2, they have more crazy individual moments. Triumph is playing better as a team.
Triumph are looking clean. They look very clean on Hollywood. I mean, without KSB, with that pop-off moments, you're exactly right. There probably wouldn't be a draw on Paris. No. Triumph would currently now be ahead. So Triumph are looking cleaner as the series goes on. XL2, really, they captured some lightning in the bottle off their playmaking, but they have to look stronger overall as a team, especially with their ult economy.
Also, I hate to keep going back to it, but XL2 has a real problem where every time they run Sombra, they're not getting good EMPs. I don't know where the disconnect is. It's possible it's just team comms, or it's also possible it's on buds. We don't know exactly where the fault is in the chain. What we do know is that they're not running Sombra very well.
Not getting the value that they need. And at the end of the day, if you're not able to execute, then you probably need to be swapping and playing more of a 3-2 setup, more of a triple DPS setup, or even the 2-2-2 that Triumph is playing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be playing Sombra necessarily, but you could definitely be making some of those swaps because we're not getting the value that they need.
All in all, looking very positive for Triumph, who've gotten better and better as the series has gone on. It's going to be down to Escort here, which will decide the fate of the series. There is no map 5. No map 5 possibilities, although, let's just put it this way. Very, very technical. In the rarest of all circumstances, which just doesn't happen in competitive Overwatch at this level, you could theoretically get a draw on Escort, just doesn't happen.
It would be the perfect confluence of insane factors there, and also, it's not even about skill at that point, it's luck. It's like, it would really be a luck thing. It's almost impossible to get that margin of error so low to get the draw on Escort. So we are heading to a map 4 that will decide the series, unless we have entered into just the crazy realm where things don't make sense.
I mean, we've been knocking on the door of the crazy realm this entire night, so that's the only reason why I put up the disclaimer. Also because there's always someone be like, you know, technically you could.
Actually, ZP, there actually could be a map 5.
Yeah.
Caster, please.
That is a thing.
That's exactly it. That's the voice too. I know it. I feel that's the voice. That's exactly it.
That's the voice I use when on broadcast.
Oh wow.
Or
Yeah,
stream.
That's true. No one actually knows ZP's true voice. That's his real one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect from his silken honey tones, but that's really it.
You wouldn't expect cackles either, but we all know what happened.
Yeah, you're quite a cackler. You are quite a cackler. It's very true. But Triumph XL2 going to be going into map 5 or map 4, not map 5, map 4 to finish up the series. Triumph looking increasingly clean, looking very much on point to actually, I would say, going into Escort. It's very much about the team setup. It's very about setting up that ult economy, and I would have to say Triumph is looking like the better team right now.
And you think about what the different game modes favor. Assault, more than any other game mode, favors the entire idea of, well, we're not all that consistent, but we have our big pop-off moments because you only need to win effectively 2 fights to win an assault round. Now that we head back over to Escort, which really rewards consistency over time, I think this is a real problem for XL2, and Triumph is actually moderately favored as we head into our 4th and final map.
I also have to say that I agree with that, not even just because of pure team play. They're just getting more out of Sombra. And you know what's really good? Sombra, especially on Rialto for first. Moving, I mean, really at all points of the map, you can find a lot of value. You have a lot of flanks and high ground to utilize that verticality. They get the poke. And because XL2 have just not been able to harness that power yet and really get the value they need, I have to say that there's a very real possibility that we could see a lot of Sombra usage here, that 2-2 setup for Triumph where they keep Samito on the Hanzo. It seems to be working.
I think the other thing, as you mentioned, Samito, where I don't even think we've given him enough love over the course of it. Lynx has had more pop-up moments, but Samito has been remarkably solid as well, where across the board for Triumph, every player has had big moments of contribution, pure and simple.
They have. I think XL2 has really been riding the high in a lot of ways of KSB. They've been riding the height of KSB and even speedily doing some work, but Triumph, their backline, always staying alive, getting insane value when they need to. Decod is being aggressive, leading. Samito, Lynx, just doing crazy stuff, along with Aether on that Sombra. So Triumph going to be on this defense, running a solo tank setup Rhine, and then triple. Oh no, actually, I should say Lynx is on Zarya. So it's 2-2 again. It's the Triumph co-op we've seen throughout all series. I didn't see him. XL2 going to be playing Sombra Ghosts though.
Samito hanging back on the Hanzo. Most of the team back near the payload, and again, you have the war for the payload, and then you have the war between snipers right now. And Samito hanging on back here. Again, just looking for a headshot as XL2. They just kind of bob and weave their way through. Decod finds Lucio. XL2 on the somewhat rough start here.
They did lose the Lucio, but right now they're not worried about the speed for the engage. It's really controlling the high ground. You see Gig rotating around, dropping that bubble to block the Hylian as well. But the anti-nade means that no one is blocked regardless. So they've won the first fight. I like this swap for XL2. They're going full 3-3. They put Gig onto the Winston so he can help deny Samido and Aether on the Sombra. This is a good swap, a very, very good swap.
And not just 3-3, but a more dive-heavy 3-3 that makes snipers feel uncomfortable.
And the Sombra, like you can just zone them so much more effectively. And since there's no D.Va on the field, it's hard to punish Gig. There's no D.Va, there's no Xin. Zarya, it's sometimes tough to punish the Winston when the bubble's out.
But gets down Decon immediately. Triumph finding themselves on the back foot, and they might be giving up point A rather quickly here. If Aether can't get EMP and healed up at the same time, there's a heal up. 99%. EMP is ready. Is Aether gonna go for it? No, they don't get back in time.
Now Triumph, they get to sleep, but they're still gonna be going. Decon gets the charge off the map, is gonna go down, take his life for it. But they need to deny Lynx's energy here. They need to make sure he can't get out with this energy. Chasing him down, he will go down. But Triumph will have ults for this following fight. XL2, considering they do not have any defensive ults, they need to engage first, CP. They need to look for this early gauge, whether it be the grab, whether it be the bomb. They cannot let Lynx get this grab off or Aether get the EMP.
I think the most likely scenario is what you just said. Needs to be the early grab. That is one way you deal with an EMP fight, is that you get a grab that makes you EMP in a less than ideal circumstance. So it's up to KSP. You just walk forward, grab, Eden on the other side. Buzz gobbles it on up. That makes things a lot more difficult to Triumph. But Samido, Dragon Strike, well placed, gets two. The Graviton unneeded. And if anything's gonna tilt Buzz, that would be it.
Gig though, dropping the Primal, removing this barrier, trying to move it around. You see the beat actually have to be invested. So despite the fight being won, XL2 have gotten more ults out. They're still in this fight. They're still surviving. Chop a little too deep. XL2, their spawners are here. They are here.
And Aether ends up having to use the EMP. XL2, the heavy pressure from the dive, keep it on in. Buds finds Aether, and XL2 moving on through. This has been a fantastic sequence for Buds.
Gig and Buds, it is, you know, I just had to go, mwah. Like, that is magnificent. They kept the pressure on. Buds gets that early grabby. Despite Samido's presence with the Dragon Strike, they just had too much health. They Triumph was split. They had already lost players. Very well done. They keep them in the fight, and now Triumph have to recontest in a position where they have no ults, realistically.
Probably up speedily, just fearlessly going into the Triumph backline. Bionade hits 3 for XL2, but they're gonna beat. That's a well-timed beat that deals the Bionade and lets them keep up the pressure, keep Triumph on the back foot, and they're gonna get point B. This new aggression from XL2 is unlike anything we've seen from them all series long.
And this is what they should have been doing all series long. Triumph is not playing Somber Goats. They're not playing standard 3-3. They're running a 2-2-2. You know, you could just walk into them. Just walk into them forehead, and that's exactly what they're doing. The aggression is perfect.
We don't know for sure, but the XL2 coaches may have come out and just unbound everyone's S keys. You can't walk back, you can only go forward, and going forward is getting results. The Graviton sets up Lynx for failure. Decon stuck in the corner, Nano or no. Decon about to fall. OG finishes him off, and this is serious momentum for XL2. They are speedrunning Triumph.
Triumph has Grav Dragon though. Grav Dragon is available. Buds is still here on the Hammond from that contest, so no eat possible. If the Grav Dragon is set up, or even just the, you know, just a grab even, that's enough. There's no ults.
Graviton in from Triumph. Dragon right on over. It's lunchtime. Dinner bell sounded as Triumph finally gets a bit of stability, but that was energy out of XL2 that we have not seen in a while.
Really brings you back, that combo. It's been a while since we've seen the Grav Dragon used consistently, but we've seen a lot more today in this matchup. Aether now has EMP. EMP Shatter available from Triumph. Realistically, they don't want to have to use both necessarily. They only want to have to use one. OG does not have that beat, but with a Nano possible, if XL2 plays split here and pop that rally early, they can definitely survive.
They're on TP. They already first pick off, forces out the EMP early for Triumph. They want to equalize while they still have 5v6, but again, even while down some, it's not great. KSP already with 2. KSP taking for a ride. Decon gets rid of the threat. Aether fighting OG here in the back. Almost gets embarrassed, but not quite. XL2, they've been wounded pretty heavily here. Respawn's coming back in for Triumph. Even as XL2 tries to fight it on in, I think the Shatter might have been thrown into the abyss here. Gig still with 2, Gig with 3.
But he slept, he's hacked, he's punched, it's over. Bye-bye, Gig. That's a sad time. He did the best he could. Haku with a huge HP fight. But they lost too many players. They lost too many players early. They didn't have any finisher ults. Now they're going to have to look forward against his next fight. And it's on KSP. KSP, if he gets his grab off early, there's no defensive ults for Triumph. They can definitely clean that up. They just have to find that value.
And this is one moment where I actually would like to see Triumph just go to the D.Va, knowing that the grab is coming in. They have no response to it whatsoever. just keep that option alive. But instead they're going back to the Han zone. I think the goal here has to be, you need to get pick off before Graviton comes in.
XL2 needs to go way faster.
Yes.
The longer these rotations happen, the closer Aether gets to EMP, and then you have EMP Shatter. If they're not taking too long, then they lose all this advantage for having the grab, and Triumph doesn't have D.Va to eat or a defensive hold. They need to just go. They need to go.
XL2, hold W, drop the grab. Graviton in on the decod first. Move forward, but Shatter from decod just completely shifts the fight. And I think you're completely right. They had a window there where Shatter wasn't a thing, and they just waited way too long.
Waited too long and then didn't respect decod. They weren't tracking their Shatter. They felt they needed to clean up on that grab, because also KSP's grab wasn't ideal. Solo grabbing a Ryan in that scenario, when the backline is split, when you have no other players in your sights and you have no other ults to sustain, that is definitely not the grab that's necessary, and they weren't watching for decod Shatter. So Triumph, they're in a great position moving forward. So
the XL2 Express has been completely derailed here, and what was looking like a speed run might not even be point C.
Oh, that bubble was so good from Leaks, a huge bubble.
Not only that, but a really nice beat to deal with the EMP. The further the EMP is gone, XL2 hasn't lost anything. They can immediately move forward. However, Graviton's up here from Lynx. Buds, can you do it again? Can you devour Lynx's grab? Not gonna happen this time. Pulls in 3. Triumph moving in. Dragon Strike right down the middle. And it's gonna gobble the ride right on up.
They keep KSP alive. They keep that energy up. But there's 40 seconds on the clock. They're down many players. Immediately isolated. They need to back up. One last fight for XL2. Whether they're gonna get held here or try to take another fight here on last. KSP, Bud, speedily. They need to get them into this point. Triumph, they don't have EMP. They don't have grab. So if I'm Triumph, I'm looking at a scenario where I can set up decod. You need to pressure shield. You need to put decod in that scenario where he can get a key Shatter.
Aether almost got picked off. That would have been massive for XL2. XL2 moving on in. Shatter ready. Grab just about on deck. Be their best opportunity left here. Final 3 seconds. Final fight on the way. They're just walking the Triumph, biding their time. Graviton invests here by KSP. Big bound aid back the other way. Gig drops down the Shatter, gets 3 onto the ground. And KSP there on the fall through. Talon moving all the while. 1 meter left to go, and there it is. XL2 finishes out, but it's not a speed run. Even a little, when it could have been.
No speed run, but it's at least a run. It's a run.
Yeah.
So they get all 3 points there. To finish in OT.
Initiating match.
So now Triumph going to be on the offense of their own here. Probably going to run that similar setup we saw on defense. And for XL2, they should probably think of some ways to deny the value here. I really think this is definitely, against Triumph's comp, a bunker setup would be great. A bunker setup would be very strong because bunker denies a lot of the opportunity for Sombra to poke, so it keeps Aether out. Also, Samido is not going to be able to solo kill that barrier. It'll force Triumph to swap. I think this is, and it's great for Rialto, especially for first, so I think this is definitely a case where they can make that swap and use that.
Alternatively, even though it's not always ideal for defense, I do think Triumph was just completely thrown off their game by XL2 just deciding, we're going to go full aggression, we're going to bring back Winston D.Va. It didn't give players like Samido the space that they've had all match long, and XL2 reaped really big dividends.
Also true. I mean, they have options. They have a lot of options, right? This comp is by no means unbeatable. They can be aggressive. They can try to play a little bit more defensive and just deny the value rather than just trying to run into them. They have options here. They just need to pick a unified decision and go with it, because they looked great on the first 2 points with that comp.
I do think the compositions we're seeing come out here and now very much favor Triumph. If for nothing else, XL2 over the course of the series has not been able to prove that they can run a good Sombra setup, whereas Triumph, they've run a very good Sombra. We'll see if this is the map that XL2 reverses course.
And once again, because XL2 are playing the Sombra setup, they don't have anyone to deny Samido. They have no one to deny Samido the angles. They have no one to keep that high ground effectively. It's very, very tough for Buds also to win those wars with DPS wars, because Samido can there and help out Aether. And already they've lost that high ground. They've lost a lot of this high ground presence.
Triumph just bullying in over the top, in no small part due to the Hanzo. And XL2 just continuing to have to give up ground. And KSP, he's in a really good Zarya spot, but I think he's going to have to give it up here soon.
Triumph getting ready to set up their push. Looks like they're going to rotate to the high ground, take the high ground, set up Samido in awkward, but speedily finds Aether. Bye-bye.
Aether's down already. They've evicted KSP from that very good Zarya spot. Samido still looking for a pickup. Yet to get any so far. So Triumph have been fishing, haven't got a lot to show for it here just yet. And XL2 being more resilient.
OG just dancing around this high ground, looking for a Boop, trying to put one of the tanks onto the ground if they can. XL2 circling around here. We'll have Nano very, very soon. Decod hacked, though.
XL2 not going super eager, falling on up. They are a bit ahead. Oh boy, knocked to the ground immediately. Dragon Strike in off the Shatter. Gig getting low, but Gig still alive. The heal's enough off the Nano. And XL2, they turn that fight to their advantage.
Gig and Haku synergy, this map has been the best it's been all series. Haku making repeatedly good plays with the Nano. The nades landing exactly where he needs them. Really well played from Haku to keep his team alive there. I like Decod's Flank Shatter. XL2 wasn't expecting Decod to just be like, I'm flanking, here comes Flank Shatter. They didn't see it.
Flank Shatter, still to this day, a much better play than the Flank Orisa, just for the record.
It is definitely much better. Now Triumph, they will have EMP though.
Well, they EMP first, but Buds, EMP's in response.
They catch OG, there's no beat.
That was a really bad exchange from XL2. Not only do they lose the fight, but they throw the EMP away. And using Sombra continues to be the Achilles heel for XL2.
However, one thing is, since the EMP is removed, well, with the staggers, now it becomes a lot harder because XL2, they had ults to hold here. They have ults, they even have defensive ults. They have Rally, they have Beat. They definitely have those to survive the grab, but it's a question of can they even touch?
I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time, and no, they're not. Instead, Decod charges ahead fearlessly. XL2 not quite getting run over. In fact, restabilizing. They want to fight the bridge tooth and nail, and they have the ultimates to do that, but even if they use ults here to win the fight, I think you're Triumph. You're okay with this, and oh, Decod turns on in, drop the Shatter, 3 to the ground, and the Dragon's going to clean the rest on up. What a turnabout for Triumph.
Not respecting Decod Shatter again. Gig, he's hitting huge Shatter, he's having great plays, but he's not watching for the Shatter. He's not watching for that, and Decod Shatter wins them the fight. OG even had an extremely clutch beat, not getting caught, but then the boops come out, Speedy's done, it was over. So Decod keeping them in that fight.
Speedo, meanwhile, moving on forward, going, you know, it'd be great to add on to this, an extra pickoff, a little bit of momentary stagger. Not quite gonna happen this time. XL2, though, struggling to catch their breath.
They need to take this fight early. They need to remove EMP from Aether before they get to there. They have Nano, they have Shatter. Just take this fight aggressively. Do not let Samido and Aether have that space.
Speedo rotating around. Triumph almost through the corner of Doom. We're going to see the Shatter in from Gig. Only knocks down Decod. Decod out of the fight. Nano boost used the other way. Aether with the EMP. Still winnable here for Triumph as they move on forward. Samido dropping Dragon Strike, middle of the fight. And Gig out of almost walkable space here. Precious close to the water. But on the other side, Buds dives in, finds Diana, and XL2 able to hold on to a degree. It's back and forth, but Triumph probably going to need the resets.
Triumph definitely need to reset. KSB gets that late right click. And really, most importantly, is that Decod went down early. Decod going down means, though, it's a lot harder for Triumph to clean up on that EMP because Samido's still going to be dealing with the fact that there's barriers on the field, there's constant healing. Decod's the best one to walk forward and get the cleanup, but he was gone. And XL2 played split, they stayed alive. Good armor pack there for Speedily onto OG to keep up. So they've stabilized the point. No EMP, no ult cycle. OG will have beat here for the grab. They also have Buds if they need to use a defensive bomb or even initiation bomb. So there's plenty of resources available for XL2.
2 minutes left for the offensive Triumph. They try and go in through the high ground. Winning poke war versus Gig, and they just knock him off the high ground in full. Good position here from the offense as they move forward. Samido on the ground, suppressing fire on one hand. Reinhardt's fighting the high ground on the other, and this is a decent approach from Triumph so far. Earth Shadow's up at KSP.
Look for Decod Shadow. There's no barrier. There's no barrier right now. Decod might be looking for the Shadow, but already the early grab. I think it's going to come after this.
Go for the grab dragon setup. Countered by the bear on the other side. Gig knocked to the ground. Down he goes. But overall, still a very good fight from XL2. And they nano boost KSP. He's on in there with 3.
He's on in there, and Decod got bullied. He was looking for the chance to drop that Shadow the entire time. Even with the early grab from Lynx, he couldn't find the opening because he was getting constantly bullied. Haku hits that extremely important anti-nade too, so Decod just couldn't drop shield. He could not drop shield to drop the Shatter. And we're in last fight territory very soon because by the time Triumph get back to the point, it's going to be last fight.
It's 1-1, the series on the line. As Triumph desperately try to keep themselves in it. The self-destruct directly to the back. And already another pickoff for XL2. Up 6-5. Triumph, they want to make this a good one. And Aether falls in the back line. So 30 seconds left. Triumph truly in final fight territory. but having the EMP up is a good omen.
However, I mean, realistically, XL2 should have waited longer for that engage. They should have waited for a long engage. Now they're going to try for another fight, and they've used bomb.
They don't have a lot to deal with the EMP here. KSP needs to engage aggressively with the Gravitas. They do just have to look for Awkward. They force out the beat, but not before Awkward falls. 5 on 5. Shatter from DCOD. Sets up Triumph. Much better from Triumph. They're going to get onto the payload. And XL2, they're going to lose point B.
They're going to lose point B, and I can't help but look at the fact that the engage happened so fast. If Buds had bomb, if they had bomb, this entire situation would be different. Gig, he wants to commit to the fight, but there's no way they can stay while Lynx is alive, but Lynx must live. If Lynx goes down,
Lynx
this week it doesn't happen.
It's winnable for XL2. Overtime spawns, making this doable. XL2 back onto the point.
And a pause.
We have a pause.
And
but
a pause. Well, the map is over, guys. The DC just seals the fate for Triumph.
Yeah, I think there must have been a DC there. But, okay, you can pause the game, but...
It's over.
Yes.
It's over. We're going to return. We're going to say, like, okay, everyone's back in, but the map is done. The series is over.
So,
bye-bye.
The DC, we don't know who it was offhand from the angle, but it explains to a degree how that was able to be brought back after what was a very good fight for Triumph. And look, it is a bad break. These things do happen. But still, you have to give it up for XL2 having a very gutsy defense there relative to where we were before. And okay, we're going to pause because, well, it was over.
It was done. It was done.
It was done.
XL2 bringing it back. Gets the brink. It's a very strong Triumph. They looked really good today. They did look really good today. XL2 bringing it back, finishing up that series. Maybe 2-1 for them. And realistically, they had some trouble with the Sombra play, but the 3-3 was really good for them. And the 3-3 was the right choice. When Triumph is trying to force 2-2-2, when they're trying to force Hanzo, Sombra full time, 3-3 is great against that because you own point better, you can zone better, you can eat ults. D.Va's a great hero.
Very good. Also for dealing with the strengths of Triumph. For Triumph was going, okay, we're going to run Lynx on Sniper, we're going to run Samito on Sniper, and we're going to give them all the room in the world. And guess what? When those two players have room, they usually do great things. And XL2, what a turnaround, where I would argue over the first 3 maps, Triumph easily the better of the two teams, even though the map score was 1-1. But once you got in the Rialto, XL2 said, wait. You mean we can be aggressive? We can push into the other team?
We can play D.Va?
We don't have to give a Hanzo infinite space?
It's great. It's great. Sometimes we've talked about it previous time. The H key is very, very strong. It's a very, very strong ability in the game of Overwatch. And by having that D.Va on the field, Bud's had a huge impact. He was eating ults. He was getting the right zone that he needed far more than he was on Sombra. A lot more than he was on Sombra. And it worked out a lot better.
It did. And XL2, I have to say, great adjustments from them. Credit to the coaching staff. And Triumph, I don't think there's a whole lot of shame in what went on here. Triumph still looked very strong. They're still on track to make the playoffs, especially if you look at their strength of schedule coming up. Good Overwatch.
It was. And I think that it was on a knife's edge as well. Realistically, one fight is different at any point in that last minute. Maybe whatever happened to DC, we don't really know. That could have been a series win for Triumph. Very, very close game.
But guys, that is going to bring us to the end of our night.